Good morning, Fellowship High Crest. Welcome to your jump start for today. We are going to be in Judges chapter 19, verses 1 through 9. I'm going to go ahead and read those. It says, Now in those days Israel had no king. There was a man from the tribe of Levi living in a remote area of the hill country of Ephraim. One day he brought home a woman from Bethlehem in Judea to be his concubine, but she became angry with him and returned to her father's home in Bethlehem. After about 4 months, her husband set out for Bethlehem to speak personally to her and persuade her to come back. He took with him a servant and a pair of donkeys. When he arrived at her father's house, her father saw him and welcomed him. Her father urged him to stay a while, so he stayed 3 days, eating and drinking and sleeping there. And on the 4th day, the man was up early, ready to leave, but the woman's father said to his son-in-law, "Have something to eat before you go." So the two men sat down together and had something to eat and drink. Then the woman's father said, "Please stay another night and enjoy yourself." The man got up to leave, but his father-in-law kept urging him to stay, so he finally gave in and stayed the night. On the morning of the 5th day, he was up early again, ready to leave. And again the woman's father said, "Have something to eat, then you can leave later this afternoon." So they had another day of feasting. Later, as the man and his concubine and servant were preparing to leave, his father-in-law said, "Look, it's almost evening. Stay the night and enjoy yourself. Tomorrow you can get up early and be on your way." All right, so there's a little bit of an interesting story here. A couple of things that I see going on is just some things where things appear maybe okay on the surface, but they're not quite right when we dig into them a little bit. And the first one is that this man is a Levi. He's supposed to be, one of the leaders of the temple worship of God and the most holy of all the Israelites, which would have been, a monogamous marriage, but he has this concubine. We'll find out later as we keep reading that he seems to love this concubine and wants to care for her and goes and tries to bring her back home, but maybe some false care there based on how he treats her later. And then we have the father-in-law in the story who seems to be offering a lot of hospitality, but maybe that hospitality is a little false. There's some manipulation there, like, "I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to take my daughter." Maybe for good reason, as we'll find out later. But just a little, things may seem right on the surface, but when we dig into it a little bit, not quite right. And so I see this over and over again in the scriptures where God is really concerned that our outward lives line up with our inward heart posture. And so sometimes we can put on a show. Sometimes we can put on a face for people that things are okay or that things are going well or that they're the way they should be. But we're really struggling in our hearts. We're struggling with maybe pride in a situation. We're struggling with control in a situation, anger, or lust, whatever those things are that we're struggling with on the inside that tend to seep out, whether we realize it or not. So my prayer for myself today and for you as well is that you go to God and you ask God, to examine our hearts. Examine my heart, renew my spirit today, and show anything to me that needs to change, that I may need to repent of or confess of, Father, and just guide us in those areas. So thanks for joining us today. Continue to power up, pour in, and spill out.